My name is AJ with Top 10 Nerd, and here are the top 10 Superman villains who cannot be stopped. At number 10 is Batman. Yeah, that's right, I'm starting off my list with a hero. Sue me. Batman possesses a unique challenge to Superman, primarily due to his strategic mind and preparedness. See, not only does Batman carry kryptonite on him at all times, keeping him strapped, which is, as we all know, the Man of Steel's ultimate weakness, but he's also a billionaire with the resourcefulness to match his intellect. This combination of absolute wealth and absolute cunning makes Batman a formidable adversary. Their clashes have produced varying outcomes, showcasing the dynamic nature of their rivalry. Batman's ability to defeat almost any character in the comic book world underscores his prowess. It's often suggested that with enough preparation and time, Batman can take on anyone, even Superman. Their conflict stems from Batman's unease with an alien wielding all this immense power without any accountability, paralleling Lex Luthor's concerns. Superman and Batman, despite both being heroes, share conflicting philosophies on achieving justice. While they both aim for the greater good, their methods sharply differ. In the realm of brutal Superman villains, Batman is a relentless force, not just challenging the Man of Steel's seemingly unstoppable might, but actually overcoming it. At number 9 is Alfred Pennyworth. Alright, I'll promise I'll cover actual villains as soon as I'm done talking about our main man, Alfred. See, Bruce Wayne's unassuming butler holds a hidden brutality so fierce, it makes even Superman quake in his little red boots. In the Injustice comic series, Superman is consumed by a ruthless quest for control after the Joker takes out his wife and makes him go crazy. Superman would then infiltrate the Batcave with the intent to incapacitate Batman. With the Dark Knight left vulnerable and on the brink of defeat, Alfred steps into the ring. Armed with a strength-enhancing super pill supplied to him by Lex Luthor himself, he wages a relentless assault and one-way beating against the Man of Steel. In a shocking turn of events, Alfred headbutts Superman, breaking the hero's nose, and then proceeds to pummel him mercilessly, driving that goody two-shoes face into the unforgiving floor. This surprising triumph stands as a testament to Alfred's unwavering dedication to protecting his surrogate family, showcasing that even the mightiest of superheroes can suffer humiliatingly brutal defeats at the hand of seemingly weaker opponents. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. I would really appreciate if you did do those things because it supports the channel, it's free, and makes me happy. At number 8 is the Mongul. The Mongul is a formidable intergalactic conqueror who stands as a relentless adversary in Superman's rogues gallery. Hailing from the distant stars, he commands Warworld, a mobile war machine planet that traverses the cosmos seeking conflict. Mongul is honed through training with the Sinestro Corps and possesses unparalleled combat skills and tactical acumen. While overshadowed by the likes of Darkseid, let's say, Mongul and his warlord family persistently vex Superman. At number 7 is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is the most obvious contender on this list, and for good reason. Lex is widely known as Superman's arch nemesis, despite the fact that the only thing he's got going for him is his vast intellect. Now, despite his apparent lack of superpowers, Lex has been able to outsmart Superman a countless number of times. He's even directly responsible for the creation of many of Superman's other villains, some of whom will get their own spot later on this list. Stick around for those. Most of his successful evil plans involve the use of a machine he's invented, like whenever he drains Superman's powers into himself, or that time he convinced Superman to join the Legion of Supervillains after erasing his memory using a device he called the Amnesia-inator. I mean, the memory expunger. Not as cool. But inventing machines isn't all he's good for. As it turns out, this slimy dude's also good at inventing political narratives too. He has gone on political endeavors many times over his villainous career, and not only has he successfully used his position in office to create laws and policies that benefited him personally, just like every other politician, but he's also convinced the citizens of Metropolis of Superman's threat to their safety on more than one occasion. These very few few examples alone make it easy to understand where Lex Luthor's notoriety comes from. At number 6 is Mr. Mxyzptlk, whose name is so fun to pronounce that I'm just gonna call him Mr. M for the rest of the video. Mr. M is a mischievous 5th dimensional imp, which, for all of you who don't speak nerd, essentially means that he's a godlike magical trickster. Although in most stories he's pretty harmless, this cosmic equivalent of an internet troll can stir up more commotion than even Superman can handle. Unlike a certain pink ditto wannabe that we know, Mr. M's potential for destruction is far more limitless than any of the characters on this list can even manage, because Mr. M is so powerful that practically anything goes. Back in '89, he humiliated Superman by crafting a fantasy world in which he was the ruler and Superman was his obedient servant. In '91, he aged Superman rapidly until he became an old man too weak to defend Metropolis from Mr. M's ensuing wrath. In '95, he even created an even more powerful version of himself, and Superman was left with no other recourse but to beg Mr. M to help put an end to his more powerful self. His power is truly limitless. It's like having the power of a genie, the mischief of a leprechaun, and the hairstyle of Weird Al Yankovic all rolled into one. At number 5 is Darkseid. There are some villains that Superman is simply no match for. So when the tyrannical ruler of the aptly named planet Apocalypse is wreaking havoc, it takes the combined efforts of each member of the Justice League to take him down. His most iconic means of world domination sees him utilizing the anti-life equation to impose his will on any and all sentient beings. But when he's not using magic math, Darkseid tyrannizes his opponents by other various means of manipulation, including emotional, technological, and psychological manipulation, which has allowed him to, for example, take an advantage of the Time Trapper's powers in an attempt to pull a Biff from Back to the Future 2, or the various times he's compelled Superman into unwittingly doing his bidding. But if he's really all that genius, maybe he should be trying to discover the anti-losing equation instead. At number 4 is Parasite. Personally, I find this villain's appearance to be brutally revolting, earning this anthropomorphic tumor our number 4 spot. Jokes aside, the Parasite of the DC universe is a major force to be reckoned with, as his primary superpower is the ability to steal superpowers from others. Admittedly, however, as versatile as this power sounds, it leads to pretty predictable outcomes. Parasite comes along, feeds off Superman, who then, in a weakened state, has to figure out how to either get his powers back or defeat the Parasite in some other way. Thankfully, we finally got to see this formula get altered in Superman Batman number 23 to 25 back in 2005, with the introduction of an army of superpowered minion parasites, which is pretty fun. Ultimately, as predictable as the encounters against Parasite may be, his powers are so OP that he nonetheless deserves a spot here on this list. At number 3 is Brainiac. Sometimes an android, sometimes a cyborg, but always an alien, Brainiac is yet another evil genius that joins us today on our list. Brainiac relies on his advanced tech to cause disruption. In one issue from '83, he merged with Lex Luthor's body and used their combined intellect to create a more powerful body for himself. And in a story from 2002, whose plot sounds like it should have been released in 1999, Brainiac infects Metropolis with the computer virus, causing mass chaos and destruction. But the evil plans Brainiac is probably most well known for have to do with this hobby of shrinking and collecting entire cities and planets. He's miniaturized Kandor and Metropolis on multiple occasions, and even the Man of Steel himself, with the goal as lofty as the recreation, or sometimes destruction, of the entire universe. You can bet that Brainiac is an unstoppable force to be reckoned with. At number 2 is Doomsday. This villain is famously responsible for the very demise of Superman, and also his various doppelgangers, easily making him one of the most powerful people on this list. He's known for his incredible strength and invulnerability, but not so much for his sophisticated evil plans. They usually just amount to wipe out as many people and Kryptonians as possible. Although Although in the Superman Doomed storyline from 2014, Doomsday manages to infect Superman with a virus that slowly turns him into a Doomsday-like creature, gradually becoming more unstable and violent, and also aesthetically pleasing, if I do say so myself. And at number 1 is General Zod. This classic Kryptonian had been exiled into the Phantom Zone by the leaders of Krypton prior to the planet's destruction, and Zod, along with his super goons, managed to escape and attempted to conquer Earth. And although Superman managed to put an end to Zod's plans back then, Zod has persisted long enough to see a few victories of his own. Zod's been able to actualize his dreams of conquest not just on Earth, but also on planet Daxam, New Krypton, and even the original Krypton in alternate timelines. While Zod's plans may have seen successes, let's not forget that at the end of the day, he spends most of his time in the Phantom Zone, aka Cosmic Timeout. Well, that about wraps it up for brutal Superman villains. As always, if there's a brutal Superman villain that you think I've missed, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. This has been Mxyzptlk with Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you all in another video. Later, nerds.